Welcome back to the Daily Drum on WHUR and Sirius XM Channel 141. This is the Inside segment. I'm Harold Fisher. If your house feels a little smaller than it did a week ago, it is not your imagination. The DMV has been snowed in, iced over, and bundled up inside for days. No school, no work, and nowhere to go. At first, it was cozy. Now, not so much. The kids are climbing the walls. Couples are side eyeing each other over the last snack. Oh, my goodness. Are you still here? And everybody needs a little space and peace and quiet. Well, tonight, we're talking about cabin fever, what it is, why it's a real thing, and how to survive being a little close to the people you love. Expert tips, real parenting coping hacks, and maybe permission to take a break without the guilt are on deck. My guests are Dr. Sharon Allison, physician, author, and speaker, Melissa Wood, wife and mother of four children, and they've been in the house all week. Melissa, God bless you. And Darlene Drummond, dear friend of mine, who is just tired of being stuck in the house. Ladies, thank you all so much for joining this conversation. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure thing. So let me first start off with this whole cabin fever thing. Dr. Sharon, what is cabin fever, and why do you think it hits so hard during long stretches of being inside?
There's not a quote unquote clinical diagnosis, but cabin fever is typically feeling irritable, bored, restless, down from being indoors for a long period of time. And then you have mental and emotional kind of distress like anxiety, lack of motivation, trouble concentrating, and often trouble with your sleep cycle because we're taking naps, we're bored, we're eating more or not or less, or we eat more. Let me just be honest. and you feel trapped. If it was the same thing and you stayed at home for 4 days and it was all voluntary, that's wonderful.
That's a vacation.
That's a vacation. That's a staycation. But this is, I feel like I can't get out. So I know for myself. Woo!
Dr. Sharon, it's called forced jail.
Forced jail.
Oh, right. In home detention.
Without the ankle strap.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, see, Melissa. Okay. So, first of all, how old are your children?
Okay. I have a son, 14, a daughter that's 12, and I have a set of twins. Yeah. I have a set of twins. They'll be 3 in about 2 weeks.
Does brain fog come with cabin fever?
Yes. Yeah, and not to put like my age out there, but I wasn't, I was considered geriatric when I had the twins. So all that stuff, brain fog, irritabilities, it's just amplified more with the little ones at this age.
You seem like such a pleasant person right now. So.
Somebody knows. I try my best.
So what's it been like this week for you?
This week has been extremely challenging. I work from home on a regular day, so it's usually me and the twins here on a regular day. But with the older two, they're bored. They want something to do. They want me to entertain them. They all of a sudden they forgot they have chores. Yeah, so they forgot they had chores. Luckily, this week I was able to prep a little bit more. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I already know about the snow and being snowed in. I was mentally preparing myself. I said, they're going to be here all week. Let me get all their snacks and stuff. So for me, it was just about being a little bit more prepared this week.
So we are at the end of a week. Of course, it snowed on Sunday. This is Friday. And we are supposed to get more snow at some point during the course of this weekend. So what's your plan going forward in the event that the kids will have to, or the 3-year-olds, you got terrible 2s and thrilling 3s. So they're going to be, they're not going anywhere. But
Yeah, they're
other
not going in. That's just a regular day.
right, exactly. So what's your plan for next week if we get hit with another snowstorm?
Just I'm gonna have to go back out to the store, I guess, because they ate through all the snacks and stuff. And I told them, I said, look, I'm not going back out there, but I guess I'm gonna have to make me into a liar because I'm gonna have to go back out and re-up, I guess. I guess movies, just finding indoor things just to keep them entertained, and also keep them engaged with their little brothers, trying to help them to help me a little bit more. But yeah, we're just gonna have to tough through it again this week. Get some more snow.
I can imagine that house just can't be big enough.
It's not.
Right now, Charlene, you on the other hand, you don't have a house full of folks, okay? But when I spoke to you earlier this week and we were on the phone and you said to me, I just got to get out of the house.
So my timing, I don't know if it's my timing, God's timing. I don't know whose timing it is, but I'm on a spiritual fast. So I gave up social media on starting January the 12th. So because I am not engaging in Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, okay, that took 70% of my entertainment away, which forced me to be a fan of the television. But
Okay.
I want to continue on my spiritual journey, right? Because I'm in this, DDS class at First Baptist of Glenarden and, doing the word and doing my homework. And okay, I love you, Lord, but it's but so much Bible I can read. So I had to divert to mindless TV. And when I tell you the tomfoolery and shenanigans of stuff that I'm starting to watch that I would have never watched ever, I'm like going back to, I see like 1 or 2 episodes and then I get hooked. And then I have to go back to the very beginning of the series. And then I'm like, find myself, I'm having whole conversations with the television. I'm calling women crazy, stupid. It wouldn't have been me. I'm just having whole conversations over here. On top of the fact, I'm trying to maintain my own personal sanity of the 4 walls. So it's, I entertain myself, put some fire logs in the fireplace, peek out the window to see what everybody else is doing, which is nothing. I live in the suburbs. So I'm in the suburbs out here. So people not walking around. My driveway is 100 feet and it is a complete 8 inches of blocks of ice.
Oh, wow.
So I can't even act like I like Amazon this week because you can't make no deliveries on my driveway because you can't do my sidewalk. You can't do my driveway. So it is what it is. I'm making the best of it, but I'm trying my best to hold my common sense together because the television will suck the life out of you.
Well, there is always the chance that you can go ahead and learn how to ice skate because of all of the.
Don't break nothing.
So
Don't break nothing.
at 61, I know I look good, but at 61, and I already have a situation, who gonna come get me?
I'll come and get you.
From Baltimore?
Yeah, well, I do. Maybe I'll
Best
send.
you can.
Yeah, I
You
do the best I can.
But I love to cook. So the Food Network, I'm on it. But here's the deal with that. I got to pick something I already have in the refrigerator because it's not like I can get out and go to the store. Oh, I don't have. So now I have to pick all of my shows. HGTV, it's not but so much decorating I can do. So at this point, You know, for like Melissa, she's working a full-time job. She is in a circus in her house. So she has constant stimulation. Whereas I have to, and Dr. Sharon can probably help a lot of us with this, as single folks in the house, is that we have to create our stimulation from a different standpoint, especially since I gave up social media as a spiritual fast.
So what about that, Sharon, where you have, for people who have families and the like spouses, why do tensions seem to rise more quickly with families and partners than they do for anyone else in situations? I mean, Darlene can turn off the ratchet TV if she wants to, but Melissa can't turn off the husband.
Well, I'm newly remarried.
That's right. All right.
And so you have to make sure that the doors, this is the number one thing, have a lock. That I can go into my bathroom, lock the door, put on my music, meditate, do whatever. I'm a bath person. So my 15-minute bath is now an hour and a half. Constant self-care. One of the things is proximity. Honestly, you can love somebody, you can like them and all that. But if you love chicken, and chicken is your best, you love it. I love air fried chicken wings. I make the best in the world. I said the other day to you, Harold, I can't eat one more piece of chicken.
Right.
I can't do it because it's just, and the idea that I cannot escape, that I can't get away. Or I'm going to risk life and limb to go down to the mall. All of that kind of breeds anxiety. And, Melissa, I pray for you, honey, because you got little kids running around, noise in your ear, all that. That just, again, it is close proximity. You feel trapped and your normal routine is built up. And we're not that far away from COVID. Remember the COVID restrictions?
Right.
And how we all had to be creative. So we have to be creative. Get away from, my daddy used to call the TV the idiot tube. Get away from that because this reality TV is not going to do no good to you. But again, instead of us just saying, I'm stuck, what about embracing, what about my closet that really does need to be cleaned out? What about my journaling that I really haven't done? What about my FaceTiming with friends, those kind of things? And yes, you do have to get away from your spouse. Love you. But you need to be downstairs. Let me be upstairs. Let's breathe and let's meet in the middle sometime in a couple of hours. That's how you relieve some tension.
So how did you handle this, Melissa, this week?
Well, luckily me and my husband, we work kind of like opposite shifts. So, and he helps me a little bit with the kids during the day. So I kind of break my day up in the morning. I log into work at 7 a.m. So from 7 to 11, I know I have a solid window to get a lot of things done. So I try to plan out my day, make sure I have breakfast ready for them and lunches and things like that. Make sure I'm proactively, engaging in, what I need to do instead of being more reactive. I'm just being more, proactive, meal planning and stuff like that. That boring stuff.
Gosh, that sounds like so much fun.
But it's a lot because my brain is I'm always on. I'm always on. And when I get off work, some days I'm like, okay, please leave me alone. I don't want not another person climbing on me, pulling on me, asking me for anything. Please close the door. I find myself, I have to disengage sometimes. I have to come down and then, bring myself back up. Okay, let's go back out there and do what we need to do. And, but it's a lot.
That's great because that's a way of breaking internally and mentally. Just some deep breathing for 30 seconds to a minute will give you a boost. Endorphins will go up and you get to what we joke about it, but woosah, that will help.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like something that one could do. Melissa, I want to drill down a little bit more with with you, with all of the people that you have in your house, and plus you got a dog too. Lord have mercy. So we want to talk about just what your woosah looks like, but stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. Don't forget, you can hear this and every edition of the Daily Drum Insight segment via podcast on WHUR.com. The original Quiet Storm with Raheem Devon is next on WHUR-FM. This conversation continues on Sirius XM channel 141 in just a few seconds. Welcome back to the Daily Drum on Sirius XM channel 141. I'm Harold Fisher. This is the Insight segment. We are continuing our conversation about cabin fever. Yes, we've all been locked up in the house because of the snow and all of the ice. So how do you deal with that? My guests are Dr. Sharon Allison, Melissa Wood, and Darlene Drummond. Before the break, Melissa, I was thinking, so does your husband usually work from home?
No, he works outside of the home.
Okay, so but he's in there with you now.
Yeah, what's today? Friday. So he late. So he works a full time and a part time. So today, Fridays and Saturdays, he'll go to his part. he gotta have somewhere to go every day. He cannot be in here too long because if not, he needs somewhere to go every day.
Oh my God.
So for everyone's safety, just
for everyone's
yes.
Dr. Sharon, I think you need to pipe in right now.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even know what. Is this his day to be at home?
Does he feel safe at home?
Right. Oh, right. Like, is he safe? That's
what I said.
So, but how have you two been able to manage this with him? Being home. Even though you work opposite. When everything kind of shuts down. Are you all kind of coming together, or is he in the man cave and you're locked in the bathroom, or when the kids are down? How are you dealing with that?
Right. So his outlet, is the video games and stuff like that.
Well, he's a young person.
Yeah. His outlet is the video games. So how we come together, and we like watch TV together and stuff like that. But since being home, we kind of what he calls like Monday quarterback. Like I go over the plan. I tell him where I need him. Like, hey, I need you to watch the boys. This is what I need from you. You need to do this. By the time you go to work today, I need these things done. So the rest of my day flows, smoothly. So we kind of, do that. And, he's checking in on me throughout the day when he's at work, and then when he gets off work, I'm like, look, when you get home, I need you to get home and you decompress, but I also need you to do these things too. To throw the kids' clothes in the dryer, whatever, something, whatever helps me, keep this thing flowing, because it doesn't take a lot for us to be. We're a household of 6 and a dog. It doesn't take a lot to get us off track.
Mm-hmm. He sounds like a good guy, though. I mean, if he can, take those kind of instructions and make sure that happy wife, happy life. That sounds good.
Wait, it's not always.
Oh, it's not. I was trying.
It's not always 100%, but
I was really
for the most part, he's pretty good.
Okay, but you're going to keep him.
Yeah, I'm going to keep him. There's nothing else out there, so I'm.
A whole nother show. That's a whole
nother show.
The whole nother show.
I'm gonna keep what I got.
I understand. Dr. Sharon, we kind of touched on this earlier. Does this feel like the pandemic or a reminder of that for you?
Well, it is. I travel a lot. And so I'm always complaining, oh, I want to be home. We build these nice homes that have all our stuff in them. And I'll be doggone if I got to stay here more than 4 or 5 days. I'm like, okay, it's time to get out. And all the other time, and this is going back to the whole phenomena of jail or not, it feels like, because when you tell somebody and a little kid, don't touch that's hot, what do they want to do? Touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go out in the snow and the ice. What do you want to do? Oh, I want to go out. And so we have to reprogram our thinking. As Melissa was talking, this is a great time to engage with your spouse, your partner, whomever. It's a good time, actually open the window so you see the nice snow and it's white and it's nice and romantic. Go ahead and do some cardiovascular, horizontal or vertical exercise.
Okay, I hear that.
All that. But then after about 2 days, you're like, okay, I did that. I need to get out. So
Right.
Again, it does remind me of the pandemic a bit. But trouble don't last always. It doesn't. We coming out.
So
and enjoy your time.
When I spoke to you earlier this week, even before I asked you to participate in this conversation, you were on your way to the mall because you had been in the house, all week. When you got into your car, you hit the road. How did that feel?
I feel like one of my best friends in the world is telling all my business.
Well,
Everybody told you I was going.
Well,
It was. How did it feel? It felt like freedom.
Really?
I wanted to but I was safe because I didn't want to go at night because I didn't want black ice. And I waited until the conditions were such, that I could go. But you have to be extra cautious. But I'm telling you, the air, the walking, even though it was a little brisk, I just walked around. I think, I am a reforming shopaholic. I think I bought like a bar of soap at or somewhere. And that was it. But I just wanted to be out. I was tired of the food in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I was tired of it. And so I just wanted to breathe and be out. And the sales associates were like, yes, there's somebody here. I've never got so much attention in my life.
Mm-hmm. So same question for you, Darlene, because I know when you went out earlier this week, how did that feel?
So me going out was a nightingale moment. My best friend had surgery, so I had to get up at 3:15 in the morning, get this car out. Praise the Lord, my street was done, but it took me an hour and a half to get the car out. But once I got on the road, Dr. Sharon, we sisters, I just driving felt great. I was very safe, but just driving felt wonderful. And even though my best friend was having surgery, I was so happy to see her.
Mm-hmm.
And then the nursing staff and hi, good morning. Hi. I was Miss Mary Poppins all over the place. But then the reality set in, and that was for me. But my mom just had her birthday on the 23rd of January. She turned 85. My dad is 84. And my concern was my parents. Mm-hmm. I had to check on my mother. And she sending me photos about how they plowed the main road. And now they put all the ice in front of her driveway. So now she has a brick wall of ice. In front of her driveway. So now my brain goes to, okay, if something happens to her, we can't even get to her. Then my dad, who lives in the Woodmore area, just got his driveway, his cul-de-sac cleaned off today. So that meant he had been stuck in the cul-de-sac since the snow. So I'm calling and checking on him every day. So then there's that mental anxiety, because if something happens to your parents, I can't even get to them. and the emergency crew can't get to them. And so then I have to then revert to, okay, I'm going to do all this stuff that's going to make me feel comfortable. So then I'm going to start eating a little ice cream, and things of that nature. But it felt so wonderful being outside amongst others. But I felt bad being outside because the people that I really wanted to get to, I couldn't.
It's interesting when you talk about going out, because yesterday was the first time I had left the house since Saturday. Other than going out to shovel, I just, stayed in the house, fireplace, burning wood, kind of cooking and the like. But when I went out yesterday to run errands, I did feel, like Dr. Sharon said, a sense of freedom, even though I was going and doing things that were necessary, going to the dry cleaners and and things like that, going to the liquor store. No, that's not necessary, but I did go. And but with that said, when I came back, and this is one of those snow stories, I didn't have a problem getting out of my spot, but when I came back, I couldn't get back in. So I had to park somewhere else, run in the house, get the shovel, do all of that. And it did really feel good to be outside. Some of my other neighbors, I found out that a neighbor 2 doors down from me, who's a firefighter, has retired. And we've been neighbors for more than 20 years. But it's always, hey, how you doing? So I think that this also provides an opportunity to connect with even your neighbors, however briefly, because there is nothing else to do. And so when I was out and I was, doing the shoveling, my neighbor up the street, Tanya, who is always loud and wrong, love her to death. And so I had an opportunity. Yeah, she listens to the show. I'm sure she'll hear this. But it was also good to see her because she had been in the house all week. And so I think, even though, as you said in the beginning, Dr. Sharon, there isn't so much a clinical issue regarding cabin fever as we know it, being cooped up in the house can really affect your mental health in some small way. Not to mention, of course, seasonal affective disorder, where the sky is just gray.
Right. Exactly. And so how do you, as we end the show, how do we adjust? There may be some weather coming this weekend, all of that. How do we adjust? And because trust me, in 2 weeks, when everything's open up and your life gets back to normal, you're going to say, oh, I wish I could sleep for 4 or 5 more hours a day, or I could sleep for 6 hours. I wish I want to be in my house. I'm always complaining about being on a plane, but I wish I could be there. I wish I could take a longer bath or whatever. And so we have to do those things that keep us engaged. And I love that people are talking about the eating. Dr. Sharon is in the room. So you don't need that other chocolate chip cookie. We go buy all this stuff, and then you want to go shovel, and you haven't shoveled and worked out in 50 years. And so now you got a heart attack and ambulance can't get to you. All this stuff. We have to be clear on who we are and who we are not. But also, how do we make sure we moderate and we're not eating out of boredom, that we're not shopping online out of boredom? How do we make sure that we reconnect? And I love what Darlene said about her parents. My mother lives in Kannapolis, North Carolina. There's going to be another snowstorm. So my brothers and I are making sure she has food, she has what she needs, and all of that. And how do you keep her uplifted? Because sometimes a home can feel like a coffin. Because and especially as we get older and they don't have the internet capabilities that way they do. They do Facebook, but they can't do all this other stuff. And so spin it for good. So if you got to have that extra chocolate chip cookie, stand and have you chew it. Do some
The first time you mentioned the chocolate chip cookie, and I was watching Melissa because she gave herself a little side eye. So, I did see that, Melissa. But you never answered my question about what you do for yourself. Yes, we know we've got the snacks for the kids. Your husband likes his video games, and you spoke about all the other mothering and wifing stuff that you were doing, but you didn't say what is it in this space that you are doing for Melissa.
Oh, yeah. So you caught that. Okay. Lately, I really haven't been doing a lot for myself, honestly. Even, I try to stay on top of, the beauty appointments and stuff like that. But sometimes, just between mothering and being a wife, I'm so tired. Just the thought of making the appointment, going to the hair salon, even that it can be, a little, a little daunting. But lately, I haven't really done much for myself. Most of my hobbies are indoors. I used to have outdoor activities. I used to like roller skate and things like that. But lately I haven't really had the time to really do any hobbies really outside of TV and doom scrolling on TikTok, because that's it's right there. It's easy. Just open the phone up. But yeah, with twins it's different. It's different. And so I just never thought I would, not have I thought I would have more time for myself, really. But I really don't. So that's the challenge now. I'm trying to, not discover myself, but just get back to things that I enjoy. Finding time for myself, finding things that I want to do outside of the house. With I can only take so much, Miss Rachel, Barney, be around other like-minded women and colleagues and adult time.
Which is difficult to do because you're in the house because of the weather. And you said, yeah, you like roller skating. Maybe you can have some ice skates delivered, and you and Darlene can practice the whole ice skating thing until this foolishness melts.
That would be a no. That would be a no.
Yeah, right, exactly. But Dr. Sharon, hearing what Melissa is saying, and yes, I did hear that, Melissa. What in this space, because we are in the middle of winter, we still have, I think, 6 or 7 weeks. We don't know what else is coming beyond what may come this weekend. What would you recommend to Melissa in order to find that space, other than sending the twins down to the man cave where her husband is, and and locking the other children in the bedroom?
I certainly, I say this all over the country. Melissa, I say this: I can't be a good Dr. Sharon if I'm not a good Sharon to me. And we have thought, particularly as Black women, we got to be mom, we got to be wife, we got to be cook, we got to be accountant, we got to be sister, girlfriend, we got to be all these things. But I can only be as good of an auntie as I am to as good of a Sharon to me. I can, and so as I was listening, I was like, you have got to, it is mandatory for us to take time, even if it's 15 minutes. I'm not talking about, it's unrealistic with your life for me to say, oh, take 2 hours. No, you ain't got 2 hours. But 15 minutes, we brush our teeth every day, I hope. I hope we wash our booty. So again, maybe you add those on and do send the kids down without guilt to your husband, who's your equal partner. And for single moms and people listening, again, I say all the time, Ray ain't gonna fall out because he by himself in a box in a safe area for about 15 minutes. It's all right. And if not, we'd be all right. Get some Band-Aids. But you just have to make sure you take time for you, because that's how you are a better everyone else. With elderly parents, I'm an internist and geriatrician by training. And so you could be sucked into their life, sucked into your niece's life, all of that. You have to make sure. I'm one for self-care. So I will take a bath with all my stuff. I will put on fragrance. I will do skincare, whatever makes me happy. It makes me feel like I'm doing this just for me. And often we feel like we're being selfish. Actually, you're preserving self by taking time for yourself. So you don't end up in the corner chanting, going crazy because I don't have the bandwidth and I ran out of gas. Refuel yourself. It is doctor's orders. Take 10, 15 minutes just for you. I don't care if you don't do nothing but sit there like this. Just do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I think that is so important. And as I said, earlier in this conversation, Melissa, this is our Melissa intervention. This was supposed to be about cabin fever, Melissa. This is a Melissa Wood intervention that your girl Darlene and Dr. Shay. So we are coming to help you.
Dr. Sharon, write me a prescription for a vacation.
Yes, indeed. But the other piece of this, all jokes aside, is sometimes partners, husbands forget. Because, as I said, your husband sounds like a good guy. He already knows the Monday morning quarterback that he's going to have the huddle with you, and then halftime on Wednesday, you all are going to figure out what other plays are going to be run during the week. But one of the things that doesn't happen during the game, as we continue this football analogy, is that he may not think, well, golly, my wife needs 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Not being malicious, not being selfish, not being thoughtless. It's just that now that you're all cooped up in the house and you've got all of these other things that you have to do, he may not think, golly, my wife needs a break because everybody's doing that. That's just the man part in me. But the other part that I would say, and this goes to what you were saying, Darlene, because I'm kind of a homebody. I'm not a we outside kind of guy. I don't have to be. And so it takes longer for me to feel cabin fever. But I think last night, or maybe the night before, I was on the sofa like a bump on a log because there was nothing else to do. Other than watch Abby Phillip on CNN or what have you, but or Law and Order or whatever, instead of being more active, as Sharon was saying, around the house. And that, Darlene, for me, is the point at which I say, golly, I am going to have to get up, and even if I can't drive out, I mean, the roads are okay, but kind of reintroduce the pre-snow routine so that I don't become a bump on the log.
That's a very good point. To that point, one of the things I did, because I like to go camping, so I was overly prepared. I was overly prepared for the weather because I've got a 25 thing of propane. I've got the small propane. I've got the Mr. Buddies. I've got everything. So if the electricity and everything went out in here, I was still good to go. So the other side of that, I was prepared, but I wasn't prepared in a fun way. I was prepared and I need to survive. And so I just reflect on the generation. I'm the last of the baby boomers. And when it snowed outside this hard or even harder, we were still allowed to go outside because that's all we had was outside. I have not in 3 years have seen any kids, with their shovels all bundled up. Hey, I can do your driveway. I can shovel you out for $20, $25 because they have electronics. So when we were growing up and it snowed, we didn't have to worry about having to wait on the county or the state to get us out because somebody had kids that wanted to get that money. So everybody knew if it was a forecast of snow, everybody knew to go to the bank and get cash because you was going to pay somebody's child who knocked on your door. And we don't have that generationally anymore because, we're the world of electronics and AI. So those are the kind of the things that when I'm in the house and I'm reflecting on, wow, I'm really getting older because the things that I really enjoyed when it did snow, I don't enjoy anymore.
You said
Yeah.
$25. Somebody told me, came to the door, grown folk, talking about we'll shovel you out, $250. I said, bye-bye. We'll be right here.
$150.
$250 for some steps. The devil is a lie, and it's still out there. But my husband went on out there. I gave him some nappers, and he all right. He all right. Hurt a little bit, but he be all right.
And that's true. It goes away from the neighborly love, like Harold was talking about. Your neighbors, you will always get together and like shovel each other out and stuff like that. But did y'all see how the people, they shovel themselves out and put a chair because you better not go back to my parking space.
Right, exactly.
In my old house, they used to come with the neighbor used to do the snow blower. He was just so happy to use his stuff. I don't do that no more.
So cabin fever is a whole different definition.
It is. And here's a suggestion that something just occurred to me with my 83-year-old mother when I called her today, and it struck me that when I was a kid, out there in Lanham in Woodfield Woods, that we had t-shirts that said, I survived the winter of 79. And I remember that I was telling my mother, I was reminding her of how my late father and one of my late neighbors, Charles Ellerby, and another neighbor, the three of them, because the snow was so deep, they walked all the way to Annapolis Road, about a mile in the snow, just like Abraham Lincoln when he was walking to school. And to go to the 7-Eleven and to the liquor store. And I was reminding my mother about that, and she was cracking up. And the thing that I felt in that moment was that even though everybody's kind of snowed in, that there is an opportunity to connect with someone that you love.
Yes.
Because she hadn't thought about that in decades and decades. And when I mentioned that, she said, why on earth did they do that? So, I think that this isn't cabin fever, snowed in, middle of winter. Yes. Even if the skies are gray, you can create maybe blue sky, silver lining on the inside. Let the church say amen, Melissa.
Boot up.
Amen.
Boot up.
There you go. Dr. Sharon,
darling, collection to get her a massage, a massage envy or something.
I'm for all that.
Hey, even if you have to wait until the streets clear up. Look, Dr. Sharon, Darlene, Melissa, thank you all so much for joining this conversation. Feel better, do better. Don't let the cabin fever get you. There will be light at the end of the table. So, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harold. You gave us something to do today.
See? I do what I can. That is the Daily Drop for Friday, January 30th, 2026. For News Director Renee Nash, I'm Harold Fisher. Good night and have a warm and safe weekend.